Good morning, everyone, and welcome to join us here in Helsinki. Sunny, cold, and beautiful. So we are here in Kiasma, Museum of Contemporary Art in Helsinki. We are here behind the scenes among the extensive renovation, which began a month ago already. And we will stay closed until April 22. But right after, we will open our new ARS22 exhibition. It will be an international big survey show. And I'd like to introduce you, our chief curator, João Laia. Welcome.
Hello, good morning everyone, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Together with our Kiasma's curatorial team, we are curating the next edition of the ARS exhibition series. And I'd like to tell some kind of a background or a few words about the history of it. So this extensive exhibition, it's been organized since already 61, and it's been always combining Finnish and international art themes. Throughout the years, the exhibitions have had more than 1 million visitors. That's a lot here in the Nordic countries. And we have exhibited nearly 600 artists among these exhibitions. And this one, ARS22, it will be our 10th jubileum exhibition, and the 5th one already inside Kiasma. I guess that it would be now time to introduce and to tell something about the basic idea of the current version of the exhibition, and which we've been planning together like a year and a half now. So, João, tell us something.
Well, ARS has a mission to be both a map and a proposition, historically. And so for this edition, together, we tried to kind of investigate what would be the key, or one of the key dynamics in the relationship between art and society. And we identified the dynamic around the fragmentation of the social as a very key point that we wanted to dialogue with and relate with. So the idea that through discourses or ideas or attitudes or policies, the social realm is kind of endangered and in risk. And so this is the mapping section in terms of the proposal or the offering that we would like to do. Is about creating a shared experience to examine issues or narratives or topics that are common to everyone, to us all. And so to create this kind of gathering of people. And so we're going to examine issues related to science, to economy, to technology, to politics, to spirituality, and also humanitarian concerns. And the idea is kind of to revive the public space or the public sphere, which is already a kind of a core mission of the museum. So we're just kind of enhancing that. And so we want ours to become a very celebratory forum and a place for encounters, very open for dialogue and knowledge. Yeah.
Yes, that was a good summary out of it. So, and throughout the years, our exhibitions, they have had a tradition of showcasing kind of the latest trends and current topics, like you mentioned already in contemporary art. But how this is visible in our forthcoming exhibition? What is so-called new now?
Well, because of our interest to bring people together, we decided to focus a lot on works or practices that have a very either immersive or participatory or performative dimension. So the idea is really to bring people together and to activate the relationships between people. So the idea that the show, as I mentioned before, will be a place to come together and to celebrate together and to discuss together and to work together. There's also a very important idea or narrative thread throughout the show, which is connected to storytelling. That is something very dear to you, Leevi. So maybe you can now expand a little bit on that.
Yes, yeah. Our aim in ARS22 is to tell stories of the very present and how it is to live in contemporary society. But also we like to bring different alternatives for the future, and especially the individual stories which artists will make, but that they come from very different traditions and also wide geographical locations. So I guess that it's for our audience is easy to adapt and identify with some of them, and then understand the meaning of the storytelling inside the show. And I believe that those stories will make us think and to see differently, and also entertain us and create certain new narratives, and in these hard times also to make us believe in the different futures that are offered us in the media. Yeah, I guess that now it's time to move on and reveal some of our artists that we have selected. Just some key artists that we've been in very close dialogue now.
So yeah, unveiling a little bit of what's coming. As Leevi just mentioned, the idea was really to have a wide range of geographies, but also mediums of practices. And so, for example, we're very happy to show the amazing work of Arthur Jaffa, who makes really emotional, powerful, and spiritual statements about Black culture. We're also very happy to count with the Venezuelan artist, Sol Calero, whose really participatory work deals with ideas of exotification in connection to tourism. Then we have the immersive work, for example, of Laure Prouvost, who playfully engages with language and non-verbal language, very bodily language, as also a tool to communicate with the world, and a very open, generous tool, because bodily language is not depending on previous knowledge, let's say. We also have Sami artist Yoar Nango, who combines tradition and knowledge from Sami culture with his interest in architecture to create lived environments inside the exhibition space. And then from the performative side, we can also mention Alexandra Pirici, whose work explores a lot the ideas of history and invisible dynamics of power. And talking, of course, also about Finland, we're going to unveil only one today artist, one Finnish artist, which would be Joel Slota, who recently got awarded the Young Artist of the Year. And Joel is very interested in youth culture, and he engages at the same time with the historical canon of portraiture. Very interesting artist. But we also have some maybe less expected historical voices in the show. Maybe now I hand over to you to talk about that.
Yes. That was the idea when we're looking at that this is our 10th edition to make this survey show, and then looking at the past decades and how to find those historical background for the very current topics that we are facing in our society, like the very topical issue of the climate change. So position of indigenous artists among the Western tradition, or Black Lives Matter movement. So there are several things that have a history of its own, and we like to highlight and show those cases also. Some of the pieces come from our own collections, directly acquired from the previous editions, but then of course we will do international loans and visiting other collections. There will be artists like Jimmy Durham or David Wojnarowicz, among others. And we like to also highlight some early performance pieces and give a background for our live art section in the show. So I'm very happy that it will cover the whole range of mediums of what contemporary artists are using today. Okay, then some words about the exhibition architecture. So we have among our team selected design studio Korpijärvi Johansson to work with us and to do the exhibition architecture. it would be nice if you tell something about the process, how the concept was selected, and what it means to us to make the show.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Levi, the selection procedure was made collectively. So we had key elements of every department of Kiasma as part of the selection. And we basically used two main criteria to select them. One was how they materialized our ideas. So our interest in public space and on bringing people together to kind of react against this social fragmentation. The architecture proposal was drawing out of public space and specifically in locations or elements of public space where people gather. So for example, staircases or public squares or pillars or columns. So that for us was really interesting, how materialize our vision, our narrative in the exhibition space, and in a way how to expand it. And the other also very key point was the idea of sustainability and ecology, which is, as you mentioned, is part of the narrative of the work, but it's also key for ARS and for Kiasma and for Finnish National Gallery as part of the program Green Handprint. So in their proposal, they also defined that they would only work with either recycled materials or fully recyclable materials. So in a way, the carbon footprint will be extremely reduced. And that was also very key to us. So those two criteria were basically the main reasons why we selected them.
Yes, that is very important, and we'll make it visible also inside the show for the visitors. Now I guess it's time to reveal also one more piece or artist work linked to our strong live art presence in the show, and that will be Lithuanian immersive opera, Sun and the Sea, Marina. It won the Golden Lion in last Venice Biennale and for the best national pavilion, and become totally a must-to-see thing there, visiting right after. And as you can imagine, it will be beautiful to visit indoors on the sandy beach and to hear about the stories and thoughts that the opera singers will tell through the performance about the climate change. It's totally another approach. And that piece will be performed in the Cable Factory. It's kind of a quite short distance from the museum and in a big hall. And that will happen in August 22. That will be a nice collaboration also with the Helsinki Festival at that time. And I like to tell that the production especially has received a very good grant from the Jane and Arthurs Erkko Foundation, and which we are very much grateful. I guess that we are pretty much told most of our what is going on today, and it's now time for a few questions as well. So our head of communications, Pia Laida, is following the chat and will present some questions from there.
Okay, thank you, and hello from my point as well. The first question is quite important and actual. It is, does the COVID-19 situation affected in preparations of ARS22, and if, then how?
Yes, I need to say that yes, it has affected to us. Of course, the process has been challenging. Like usually we visit international exhibitions and that includes a lot of traveling, visiting artist studios, galleries, exhibition spaces, and also we bring a lot of artists here to do the site visits with us. So this has been very much limited this time, only a very few ones in the both directions, so to say. But in that sense, we are lucky to have an intense history of traveling with both of us, and we can use that benefit for our show now. Of course, the COVID situation has affected our financial situation as with anybody else. The museum was last year closed nearly 4 months. So of course the overall situation with the show is uncertain, but then we are working with the scenarios for the future and how to do that, and still we strongly believe that we are able to do that.
Okay, then there is a question, are there going to be any site visits from artists?
Yeah. So we already had 2. One I can reveal because it's one of the artists that I just mentioned. So Laure Provost was in Helsinki in early December. And the other artist we still haven't revealed, so we'll keep it a secret for now. And hopefully, yes, in the future as much as possible and as much as needed, because as part of the Green Handprint, we are also interested in reducing travel. But as much as possible and as much as needed, we would love to have more artists coming here, of course, but it depends on the situation.
Yes, and we strictly follow, of course, the traveling restrictions and do our best to follow them, but still it's of course possible to negotiate things and do precisely as by the protocol in that sense.
Okay, thank you. The next one is for you, Leevi, I guess. It's what is your favorite exhibition of arts exhibition series?
Oh, that's tough question. So at this point, I can say it because we are doing the jubileum type of thing. So the last edition was very dear to me, ARS17, about the digital revolution, entitled "Hello World." So that was something special. But historically, to say it was ARS95. So that was the time when Kiasma was about to be opened later on, and we highlighted all the key artists there that talking about also the public-private, talking about the identities and many other things. So that was very important to me.
And this one must be for João. It's about more general, how do you find Kiasma and working in Kiasma?
Well, I'm quite happy to be here. I was very well received. And the work has been really challenging and very interesting. To work in the context of ours is a privilege, really. So I'm quite happy. And also in general, to be in Finland at this point, one of the best places in Europe and surely the world during the pandemic, has also been really pleasant, to say the least. So yeah, I'm quite happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you. I think that was the last question. So
yes, and very much thank you for joining us today, and we definitely keep you informed about how ARS22 will proceed, and hope you stay safe and have a very nice day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.